Recapping our first mock draft of the 2024 season right now on Fantasy Football Today in 5. We did a 12-team mock draft, PPR 3-receiver league. Jamie had the 6th pick. I had the 12th pick. Dave had the 11th pick. All right, what stood out to you, Jamie, in round 1?
I think the thing we really discussed this on the main podcast was the order of the wide receivers after Christian McCaffrey, and that's something that is going to be, I think, a very hot topic of Tyreek Hill, CeeDee Lamb. In this case, Jamar Chase went ahead of Justin Jefferson, and Heath, of the 7 of us who did rankings for the wide receiver preview of our top 12 rankings that will be published on Wednesday, is the only person that has Chase ahead of Jefferson. But those 4 guys and the order that they go is going to, I think, sort of shape how the top of the first round looks like. I have Hill ranked first. So does Dan Schneier. I believe you and 2 others or 3 others of the 7 have CeeDee Lamb first.
No, I have Jefferson.
I'm sorry, you and 1 other person have Jefferson first, and then 3 other people have CeeDee Lamb first. So it's split, of those 3 guys. And for me, if Jefferson gets the right quarterback, because I don't know what the quarterback situation is going to look like. We all assume it's going to be Cousins, but it might be a rookie. He can easily get back to being number 1. He was just awesome in the 4 games to start the season and 2 of the, I think, 5 to end the season. So that's an interesting part of the first round for me. And then Kyren Williams, where will he go? You took him 12th. I could see him going as high as like 8th. So he's in that mix and deservedly so. It's just a matter of what the offseason looks like for the Rams.
Okay, and I think one of the themes that we talked about on our longer show was wide receiver not deep, but quarterback super deep. Tight end seems pretty deep, and you were very comfortable waiting at both positions.
Yeah, I think like any draft, you read the board and you know who you're drafting with, so we know amongst our colleagues that quarterbacks are going to go typically a little bit later, and that's always the case. The first one didn't come off the board until round 4. That was Josh Allen. There were 3 guys that were drafted ahead of Patrick Mahomes. So if you're looking at where he went, he was in early round 5. But I just like that group. I'm going to like it a lot of CJ Stroud, Jordan Love, Brock Purdy, Anthony Richardson. I think Justin Fields will kind of be in this group as well. Kyler Murray, those are guys that I'm perfectly fine with. And then if you want to double back and take a second guy, Aaron Rodgers, Kirk Cousins, Jared Goff, there's going to be a lot of quality number 2 quarterbacks. But we saw the season how it unfolded for Love, for Purdy, for Stroud. They were awesome and should only continue to be at that level or hopefully get better in the case of some of them. And Kyler Murray coming back as well was pretty solid, first 6 or 7 games off the ACL tear once he came back in week 10. So that whole quarterback group to me is not the same upside, doesn't have the same ceiling as Allen, Mahomes, Hurts, those type of players. But certainly we saw this season they can compete with them. And in some cases, give you those pockets of season where they're better. Tight end is a little more, tougher to gauge because, there is a little bit of a changing of the guard. We'll see the Bowers kid from Georgia, where he comes in, where he ends up. Based on how rookie tight ends performed this year, I don't think we have to run away from them necessarily the same way we have in the past. But with what McBride has done, with what Laporte has done, with what Kincaid showed you, when he was featured, those 3 guys have sort of reshaped the position. And then Andrew's coming back at 100%, hopefully TJ Hawkinson. We'll see if, Travis Kelce's still there. It is deep, but you still want to get a quality guy. For me, I just played the board and Kittle, Ingram, Ferguson, Goddard were all falling to close to the double-digit rounds, and so I just took a shot on. I took a shot on waiting, and ended up with Evan Ingram landing in my lap in round 10.
Yeah, last year one of the things we talked about is kind of this depth at running back that we hadn't been used to seeing in the mid rounds, what we used to call the RB dead zone. But talking about guys like J.K. Dobbins, Miles Sanders, Alexander Madison. I know not all of them worked out, but Rachaad White absolutely worked out. James Cook worked out. Pacheco worked out. Ken Walker worked out. Breece Hall obviously worked out. David Montgomery and James Conner. Those were 2 guys I remember in our RB preview hammering how much we like their ADPs. So I think we were right last year. And just based on this draft that we did yesterday, you got Connor still there, Swift, Mostert, Tony Pollard, Ramondre Stevenson, Tajay Spears. I know we're running out of time, Jamie, but once again, I think I like the running back depth in the mid rounds.
Well, and we do most of our mock drafts based on 3 receiver leagues. And so that changes in a 2 receiver league because, people want to get those running backs a little bit earlier and the wide receiver depth will be better there. But there's so many good high end wide receivers that you want to get those guys. and then sort of double back and get these running backs because of the injury concerns that we've seen. And look, the rookie class will change that for both positions. We saw a lot of great rookie wide receivers this year. We've never seen that to that level, of Rice and Reed and Flowers and how those guys performed. It wasn't the top tier guys, but yeah, there's just a lot of depth at running back that we're seeing. Not bell cow type of stars, but that's why you're getting them in the mid round, and they could end up being that way, like Rashad White did and Pacheco did, and some of the guys you mentioned.
All right, Jamie, thank you very much. We'll be back with another episode tomorrow on Fantasy Football Today in 5.